Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to our first ever World Card Making Day blog hop. Me and my design team, or at least several members of my design team, I kind of sprung this on them last minute, so not everybody could participate, but the ones who could participate have created for you a blog hop or a video hop where you can see us make cards in honor of World Card Making Day. Now, here are our requirements, theme, and challenge. The theme is thankful, grateful, and blessed. And some of you guys may realize that I just released a stamp set that said all of these words, so I thought it would be cool to get to use the stamp set in this video. And also, it's a great theme for this time of year. Now, we won't all be using the same stamp set. Some of us will be using different products, but we will be steering clear of A2 size cards. That's one of our challenges. You guys have said to me you want to see us make more cards in different sizes, so we are not making an A2 size card for this project. I'm actually going to make a 5x7. The third part of our contest or our challenge is that we are going to decorate the envelope as well. So we're going to make a card that is out of our comfort zone, and we're going to decorate the envelope, which we don't always do. I'm going to make a custom envelope and decorate it, and some people may just decorate the envelope, but it'll be cool for you guys to get to see how this works. So once you watch my video, everyone's links will be in the description below. You can also see it over on our blog at maymaymadeit.com. So go check out everybody's video and leave everybody some love and let them know, hey, I watched all these videos, or I'm catching the ones I can catch, and let us know how much you love our process and what we come up with. Okay, so this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock that I cut down to 7 tall by 11 long. Okay, so that leaves me with this little strip, which I feel like I'll probably use. That's not a terrible amount of waste. And I've told you guys before that a lot of times I don't make unusual size cards because of the waste, but I don't think that's going to be so bad. Now, I also decided I wanted to try to do a fancy fold, and it's not terribly fancy, but I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be different. So I've taken my cardstock and I put it into my scoreboard on the 11-inch side, meaning I put it in so that the cardstock measures out to 11 inches. And I'm going to score it in a couple of places. Number one is at 4, and the next one is at 9. So 4 and 9. Now the reason is this is leaving me a 5x7 panel in the middle, and you'll see what I'm going to do with that. I really don't know where this is going. I did a little prep, but not a whole lot. I just think that this will be a neat way to do something a little different for me. Then I'm going to crease this down nice and tight, just like that. And then this side is going to go over the top. This is kind of a modified gatefold card, and I'm going to show you how far I got with my planning. So the fold itself, I knew how I wanted to do that. I'm going to crease that down even firmer. I knew this is how I wanted it to fold so that when it opens, it'll open like this. And I know I want to use a border punch along this edge. I think it'll be pretty right here. And I love this one. This is one from my stash. And I'm going to border punch. The way I'm going to do it is put it into my punch and kind of line up the center just by eyeballing it. You could be very specific if you needed to, but I'm just an eyeballer, so just going to line this up and punch it all the way across. With this delicate punch, you really have to take your time because you can easily get off when these are so delicate like this. So I just kind of take my time and run down the page, lining it up. I think I went too far. Nope, I did it. Okay, one more, and then I'll show you what we get. A mess first and then this. So this will now have this pretty little frilly edge right there. I think that'll be nice. And I was able to kind of achieve that with just the fold of the paper. Now I need to choose some papers and things. I know I want to mat this piece so that when this lays down, that really shows. So let me find some fall paper I want to use here. So I am really just playing around and having some fun with this. So I want to show you what I did. I cut this piece the same size as the flap that will go under the top of the card. So it's 2 by 7, and it's just going to sit right here so that when this card folds down, that little frilly edge is going to show on top of that. Now these two pieces are interesting. This piece is, and I want to double check my measurements, 3 1/8 wide. This piece is 2 7/8 wide, and they're both 7 inches long. So these guys are going to mount on top of each other just like this. They're going to just be centered together, so I have a trim of burgundy on both sides. I just thought that would be pretty. So I'm just going to glue that directly down, just using some art glitter glue to do that. I know a lot of you guys want to know about this glue every time I use it. We carry this on our website. It's called Art Glitter Glue, and it'll be linked below. There'll be a blog post with all of my supplies listed, so you'll be able to just click and go check it out. All right, I'm going to try to center that on there best I can. You guys know I don't stress too much about this. I just want a nice kind of even border. And this piece, is this going to live right here? Let me show you what's going to happen. I want that trim piece, that burgundy piece, to go right at the top of my punched edge like that. I think that looks really pretty and really shows this off. But I want to do something else. I think that this kind of gets lost on the yellow. Let me show you what I mean. I'm totally playing with this. I did not plan anything but this part. So see how that kind of gets lost on the yellow? I have an idea. I'm going to take some Distress ink, some oxide ink actually, because it's very rich and thick. And I'm going to ink that border. And since I'm going to hide it underneath that little panel we just made, I think this will be really cool. This is the piece I used to make my sample, and I'm going to use it to be my background for inking. Might as well use it since I've made a mess out of that piece anyway. So here we go. That's what I do. I take a piece of paper and I do little samples and I just try it out and see what works. So that's my prototype paper underneath, and I will use it now for scrap paper until I have worn it out. And I want to be real heavy with this because I want this to really change the color of this border because I want it to really pop. I'm not scrubbing it because this border is pretty frilly and I don't want to take a chance of like wrinkling it. I probably could even do the ink pad straight to the page, but I'm just going to do it this way. Get it as dark as I can. I could probably use another color too, or even like, you could probably use black soot and be really well. Let me move this to see how much darker that is. Let's see what it looks like under the yellow. That's better, but I want to go a little darker. Now you can see we really have changed the color of that little border. So now it's time to glue these panels on that we made. So this guy is going to go right here. So I'm just going to glue it with some art glitter glue. And I want that edge to line up right with the edge of that border so that the only thing sticking out is the frilliness of the border punch. Just like that. And then I'm going to glue this little panel in place as well. And it's just covering up that bottom section, so I'm just lining it up right over the top. Now, this card could open this way. It would be really pretty like this, or this way. I'm going to do it landscape because the way I want to do my stamp on the front. Okay, so you know I had this strip left over. Remember, this was the strip left over from my 8.5 by 11 paper, and I did a test. I did this little punch on the end. I'm really getting into my stash, and I pulled out this punch that was sent to me, and it has this cool little like tag edge. I forget the name of this. It's a Stampin' Up! Border punch. I'm sure they still have it. But I'm going to take this piece and cut it down to 7 inches long. And I'm going to show you what my plan is. Something a little different. I just wanted to kind of play around. All right, so 7 inches. Then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to center it in this punch. Now, ideally, you would cut the paper to fit in here just right, but I'm just going to center this and try to do my best to get both sides the same. So here's one punch. I'll show you what that looks like. See how I got that hole? I want that hole. I'm going to use it to my advantage. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. Just eyeball centering this. Pretty close. That looks pretty good. I'm going to lay that down let you see it. I like it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is stamp this little guy. As a precaution, I'm putting this into my MISTI because I want to make sure I get a nice, crisp image. And since I've already stamped this, since I've already made it exactly what I want, I don't want to waste it in any way. So I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to put it into the MISTI so I know I can get a good image. And that way I don't waste any of that page, just a little bit off of that full sheet I started with. Okay, and I'm going to pick this up, put that back down. And I think I'm going to use Memento ink because I plan on coloring inside these letters. Oop, there's a little fuzz on my stamp. Clean that off. Ink it up. Probably going to stamp this one twice because I'm using Memento, and I'm so used to how rich and thick VersaFine is that I'm a little spoiled. So I'm going to stamp it once. And it's a little pale in the middle especially, so I am going to do this one more time. Much better. Love that. Take this little guy out. Isn't that pretty? I love the way that looks like a stamped panel. Now I have here a Spectrum Noir. This is CR10. I think it is a pretty orange. And inside these open letters, I'm just going to color that with the orange. So I've decided I want to add some baker's twine. I want it to go in, behind, and come out and tie a bow here with some baker's twine or ribbon. I may use ribbon. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come right beside the word thankful and kind of eyeball it the same as the circle at the end, or the hole punch at the end, and poke a hole there. This will make sense in a second when I run the ribbon through. And let me see if I want to do ribbon or baker's twine. I decided to do 2 different colors of baker's twine. So I'm going to use orange and brown. I'm going to feed it through the top here, just like this on one end. So this way it'll wrap underneath, okay? Then I'm going to come up through this end, through the hole we made with the hole punch. So that gives me one tail, and then my other tail is going to come up through here, but I'm going to trim this off. So now the piece down here, I'm going to feed up through the other end. I just wanted to do something different. So I'm going to tie a bow here. I don't want to buckle this piece, so I don't want to pull too tight and get everything laid like it needs to be here. I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to hold this in place for me so I can tie the bow. And then I'm just going to fidget with it till I get it like I want it. Because I'm using baker's twine, I left it a little big on one end because I think that'll tuck into the envelope just fine. Now let's see where I want this guy to go. This is where I want that to live. I may have my bow a little too big because I can't see my greeting very well, so let me shrink it down a little bit. Real easy. I did not super tighten this knot until I looked at it on the card so I could move it if I needed to. So this will be fine. Now we can see it better, but I still think I like these tails. I'm not going to cut them away completely until I look at it all together. Tighten it up a bit. Okay, this needs to go on foam squares and be lifted up here. I'm using my big roll because I decided I wanted to run a piece all the way down either side. So I'm going to trim this piece in half. Then I'm going to lay one piece beside the ribbon on one side. I cut it a tiny bit too long. No big deal. Trim that off. Then the other side. Perfect. Okay, so now this guy is ready to be adhered to the card. I kind of want it to one side, so I'm going to lean it to one side here. Cute. Now, you know me well enough to know that that needs some kind of stitching, and I think I'm going to do it in black so you can really see it. So I'm going to use my Illustrated Faith. This is the thicker, the chubbier Illustrated Faith pen, and it makes the coolest kind of chunky stitches. So this is the outside of my card. Now I need to do the inside. It needs something in this big space. So let me see what I'm going to do there. I think on the inside, I'm going to stamp in colors that coordinate. So I'm going to use my VersaFine. These are great colors for the fall. So I'm going to pull out this crimson, and I'm going to pull out Olympia green. I think that's the 2 I'm going to use. And so I'm going to use the sentiments from the same stamp set that say, "So very grateful when I thought of you today." So I'm going to start with grateful because it's going to be my centerpiece. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it up really well. I'm only going to get one shot at this. You might want to stamp a panel that you put inside here after you've done all that work on the front. But if I mess up, I'll put a panel in. That's kind of like, there's always a way, right? Okay, so right here. Oh, that worked out well. Okay, grateful. And then I'm going to do the other words in the green. So this is so very. That's going to go right here. So very grateful. And then when I thought of you today. And that's going to go underneath, just like this. Perfect. Good. I didn't have to add a panel. It worked. And I think I'm going to run some stitching right on the inside here. And so I'm going to use my ruler, just like so, to help me get it kind of straight. And that same pin, and just do some stitch lines. So here's the card, thankful, and on the inside it says, so very grateful when I thought of you today. And look at all this writing space wherever you want to write. Now I need to make my envelope. Because I'm not much on making my own envelopes, I don't have a lot of envelope paper in my stash, but I do have this glitter paper that is so nice and it does not flake off, and it's white on the back. I thought this would be really cool because I'd have a lined envelope with a white outside, right? So I cut this down to 9 7/8 square, which is what the board calls for, and now we're just going to make it into an envelope. So I put this into my punch board and I put it to 4 1/8 right here, and then I'm going to score on the A line, and I'm going kind of easy because this is glitter paper and I don't want to go too heavy at first. Okay, and I'm going to punch, then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to put that score line in, which is really hard to see. I think I'm going to flip this over and do it on the white side. Let me start from here and I should be able to catch up. So 4 1/8, score this on the A line. Okay, then I would turn it and put that A line in, but I already had that one punched, but I need to score it here. Good deal. That was an easy save. Then I can put this one in and punch, score it on that A line so I can see what I'm doing. I could open this and extend it, but I really don't need to. I can kind of see where it lines up pretty good. There we go. And then score. Perfect. Now we're ready to fold and glue. So for this guy, I'm going to fold these sides in, and see the inside of my envelope will now be glittered. It'll be so pretty. Now the thing about it is, this may add weight because I'm using this glittered envelope, but I still think it'll be pretty. And this is not something I would do all the time, but if you ever had a special occasion and you wanted to make a frilly little envelope for it, it's a good way to do it. It is still not as heavy as my cardstocks because I don't have paper. I would use, this is a great place to use scrapbook paper. So there we go. So there's the inside of our envelope, and I want to decorate the outside. Let me fold the lid down here. Now, I don't like this point. I'm the person who wants to cut that away, so I'm going to cut that off really quick. And I'm going to use my Tim Holtz shears to do that because they're nice and long. Just like that. I like that better. Then I'm going to glue this down. To decorate my envelope, I'm going to use this stamp set called Blessings that's got some leaves and some scripture. I think I'm going to put, I don't know if this will mess up shipping or not. I may put this on the back flap. Yeah, like right there. I used some washi as an extra hold on my paper because it is glitter paper, and even though it did glue, I was afraid it might open in shipping. So I'm going to close it also with washi. But this will be pretty. I think I'll run these leaves down the side. I'm just going to play. And because this paper is slick, I'm going to use the hybrid inks because they're made for that kind of surface. So I'm going to use these to stamp on here because I think they'll dry and be permanent. A worst case scenario, I could heat emboss them, but I think this will work. Pretty. Now inside of this, I'm going to use my gold pen. I do this a lot, and I'm just going to put what looks like little berries. Just 3 little dots in a little cluster. And I'll have to let this dry really well on this slick paper. So there's that. Now I don't know who it's going to, but I will address it on this side. So I'll put my return address here and the person's name there. But I think I want to go ahead and put that scripture sentiment right here. And again, I'm using the hybrid, but I'm going to use the black one this time. Oh, that looks good. And then for one final touch, I'm going to do some stitch lines around the envelope to match the card. But I think just on 2 sides. So as you can see, I decided to do 3 sides. I got a little carried away, and this is the back. I think that looks so pretty. Now let's pull the card over. So there you go, guys. This is my offering today for our vlog hop. This is my 5x7 card and the decorated envelope to go with it. It's different for me. It was fun to do the 5x7 and step outside of my comfort zone, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself for being able to use 90% of a piece of 8.5x11 paper to make this happen, because by using this strip, I use most of that paper up. I want to see what you guys are doing, but first you need to go check out the blog hop. You need to go below and click the show more button below, and then inside the description box will be all the links to everybody else who's participating in our design team blog hop for Grateful, Thankful, and Blessed theme. So remember, our challenge is to use the theme, to use something besides an A2 size card. They could pick any size they wanted to do outside of A2, and to decorate the envelope. I hope you enjoyed this one today, and be sure, if you're making cards like this, or if you want to participate, tag us in your social media post showing pictures of what you've done. You can tag us on any social media, including you can go to our Facebook group called Maymay Made It, and so did I. You can post there for us to see, and you can share it on our website in our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm off to watch everybody else. Have a great day. Bye-bye.